Saturday, July the 20th, 2019, which marks the end of my sojourn at HF Holnicote. Got a decent day today, unfortunately. Could have done with this yesterday. But anyway, fortunately enough, enables me to walk from here around 7 miles back to Minehead, where hopefully a steam train will be awaiting me. So there'll be some minor duplication initially as we walk up to Selworthy and its beacon, but thereafter, once we get past the beacon, I'm taking a different route down into Minehead. So let's press on as that wren gets alarmed in the background. The initial section of walking is across the A39 and up through the tree tunnel, as I did on my first walk. Come out of that gate and this time continue right, which is the reverse of the first walk I did. Despite that sunshine over there on the tops, there's a bit of misty rain down here, as you can see on the screen. So what I'm going to do actually is not duplicate this section that I did the other day through Selworthy village, but take this path here to my left to the beacon, which will get me where I need to be anyway. And it's a different route, albeit probably harder, with a rucksack on my back today. It's a combe, so it's likely to be tough walking. The OS map seems to indicate that. Close contours. On up past this 4-finger way marker. Mixed timber plantation, which is a working wood. That goes to Selworthy, that path there on my right. Not the one I would have come out on, but another one. Looking down from whence I've come, and it is pretty slow going with a pack up these steep inclines. At least the drizzle's stopped now. I would have missed. Not many people doing this path either. Haven't seen anybody yet. Lovely. That's the path that I was planning on coming from Selworthy on. There. But I'm just opposite this solitary bench, taking a northeasterly direction, I believe, towards the beacon. You then come out to meet this minor road, and our onward journey to the beacon is diagonally left up there. I can see the track. Weather's getting a bit ominous though. It's starting to spit, I believe. Wasn't expecting that. Another small memorial here, just off the road on my right, with a nice poem or inscription inside. Excuse the wobbling, I've got flies all over me. Yeah, nice. 33 minutes to this point from the house, just over a mile. So like I say, pretty tough pace. Yeah, nice. Thank you, Mr. Ackland, for handing this over to the trust, I guess is what we should say. 70 years old. Looks like there's going to be an inscription on each wall, or each side. as they form benches. Someone's left their milk there. Can't believe that. But you know, that's what happens when you get near a car park. Lazy so-and-sos. He lived to be a better age. So from the one surviving son, luckily some heirs clearly were bred. Views out south easterly from just before the path ascending to the beacon. Looks a bit brighter over there. What a lovely patchwork over there on my right as I ascend towards the beacon. Ominously grey. I was expecting a bit more sun than what I'm getting. And the heather, beautiful. Heather mixed in with gorse. Love it. Miles of it. Beacon's just ahead of us up this gorse lined path. A bit of jet noise. What's going on? Bit of jet noise up there. Bristol, one of the South Wales airports. Don't know. Haven't noticed that before. So a second visit to a bit more blustery beacon today, Selworthy. And looking over towards Porlock, looks like a bit of drizzle. Don't need that. Very patchy though, because there's sunshine as we go round towards Dunkery. And my onward journey today is along this top path. There's Wales just about in the distance. Misty today. Just about make out Dunkery there. It is clear. Great track walking here. Some managed burning, I think, on my left. Heather of course has gone. So keep following this track now to the little car park, and I'm wondering if that's the one I took the other day. Walking down in this sunken area. The wind is a lot calmer, doesn't affect us, not so chilly. As up on the exposed beacon there. So in terms of bird sightings, all I've seen on these walks thus far is windchat and meadow lark of any significance. Very few raptors around, God knows why. I think I've seen one buzzard, no kites. And it's not because it's grouse moor. I'm not sure why it is. Just gone 11, so walking about an hour. Parting shots back of the ridge down to Porlock. Seen that a number of times this week. Hope there's not too much wind noise today, because it is quite blowy up here, as you can see. So just prior to the car park ahead, take a left here. So in fact the path I was about to take just before the car park is now overgrown with gorse, so you just need to come through the car park and do a left here next to this gorse bush. So we're now back on the coast path where I turn right, and I do believe this is duplicating a little bit of the walk I did 2 days ago. Not to worry. Yep, definitely duplication here. This is that lovely gorse lined and heather lined wall, sunken lane. Unlike the other day when I walked through this field, there's cattle in here today. Not too interested in me though, thankfully. Okay, just have a quick break. Galloway's there coming into view. Just put the truss to keep the vegetation down. So I've got a number of options. I can either take the bridleway where the Galloways are, or from here, just in front of the car park, I can take the coast path. Wind's picking up and it's getting greyer, so I think I'll take the coast path. Little herd of Exmoors. Not too keen on being in the company of the Galloways by the looks of it. Surprises me that, because I was under the impression the Galloways were quite docile, depending on their training. The little old chapel, 1/4 of a mile down there somewhere, the ruins of, but unfortunately I won't be going to see that today. This is the coast path. Pleasant descent now. Still spitting, mind. Of course, because I'm on the coast path, and it's a Saturday at that, and it's the start of the summer holidays, school holidays, there's a number of people doing the ascent to Porlock, this being the first section of the coast path, Minehead to Porlock. I think it's about 7 miles. Good entree. Down there on my left you get a good idea of how high up we are, and it looks like, unfortunately for me, the tide is coming in, which may mean I have to deviate slightly when I get down to the high water mark on the OS map. Let's see. Now going through a wonderful wooded section. Lots of mixed woodland hanging on the cliff. Ancient, covered in moss. Look at it, wonderful. Ferns and mosses everywhere. So at this 4-finger post here, you can go up very steeply to more wood ahead along the bridleway to Minehead, or sharp left on the coast path to Minehead, which is my official route, and that's whence I've come. Wonderful. Not too busy either, thankfully. Descending steeply through lovely wooded combes. The sun's out again, outside, though you wouldn't really know it in here. Fantastic. All I can hear in the background now is the crashing of waves on the rocks. Do a sharp right just in front of that cottage there, and the path becomes really narrow here. in amongst the ferns, with the sea on your left. Well, that's interesting, that's indicating the footpath there to the little chapel that I mentioned earlier, which is through that gate hence. So just leaving Greenaleigh even point. Funny enough, just walking up that lane there was one of the residents of that house. Small world. About 3/4 of a mile now to Minehead. So at this three-fingered post, got a couple of options to Minehead, as you can see. Still no indication here of the English coast path, so I guess it hasn't been designated yet, but that's a different organisation. So 3/4 of a mile and I'm still following the official route. So as you can see, the bouldery beach down there, I'm still not sure if the tide's coming in or going out. Possibly going out, which will be okay. But it's getting a lot closer now. Soon be at ground level, sea level. And nice and sunny in Wales. Here we are, entering the outskirts of Minehead, and in the distance what looks like Butlins, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of this week, is a good alternative base, to have a cheap base and then get a bus or taxi out to do walks that way, particularly midweek when you're unlikely to get noise disturbance. That's a very good message. Take photos, leave footprints. Next to this outdoor gym. Very pleasantly sunny now in Minehead, as you'd expect. The wilderness is behind me now, just as the sun comes out, unfortunately. So there you have it, 629 3/4 miles all the way round to Poole. Starting point is Poole Lock 7. So if you fancy that, and as I mentioned on one of my commentaries the other week, it's no longer the longest path. That Charles I escape Monarch's Way apparently is longer, albeit that's inland, not a coastal path. Of course, the English coast path will be the longest in the end. So here we are, a bit further into Minehead, and as you can see, the tide is well and truly out. In the distance there, Butlins, one of the last to be built, and that's basically what keeps the town afloat, so to speak. God knows what it's like down here in the winter when that's shut. In the distance, the Quantocks, which look rather grey and murky. Good height, mind. Butlins and around the seafront. First reference I've seen to it, so it is down here, and we're currently on the West Somerset coast path. Information panel here, about how Butlins used to be and how, sorry, not Butlins, how Minehead used to be and how Butlins has changed it. Minehead Marina Mile Trail. Used to be a pier here, and there has been talk of resurrecting it, but it hasn't actually happened yet. Anyway, all useful information to Google if you so wish. So here we are down at Minehead Station. One of the locomotives over there, Holnicote Manor. There's an additional heritage diesel running today apparently. Still got the old turntable here, possibly still used as well, don't I? Turntable cafe over there. Got the old workshop. There's an old shunter down the end there as well. Get a shot of that in a minute. Our water tank. Various rolling stock carriages. Fantastic. Just missed a diesel pull out unfortunately. The additional one at 13.25. Would have been nice to get that on camera. And that's who the clock is dedicated to. Pretty decent backdrop, albeit it's commercial coniferous woodland. Not quite like where I was. Self-explanatory. The old shunter. Views back from whence I came earlier. Coast path starts on the very edge of that woodland there. And now a very pleasant day. Whales bathing in sunshine. Original WSR train here, and in the appropriate livery. Nice fire going in there. Looking like I'm going to be on the diesel though. Can't afford to miss my 6:30 train, and the intervals between bus and train are too tight. So looking back at Minehead, just as I await my diesel, unfortunately. Which is shortly pulling in behind me. Very blowy now, albeit the sun's broken through. There is said diesel, what I believe we used to call a Western, not a Sulzer, might be a Sulzer, can't remember. 636 is the class, apparently. As it slowly trundles in. It's a shame I've got to get this diesel, but the bonus is that the carriages are nowhere near as full as if it had been a steam train. So that's one benefit. What a wonderful backdrop. And ironically, I've just read on my phone that Great Western are going to be experimenting with a few link-up trains next Saturday for starters between Taunton and Bishop's Lydeard, whereas today I have to get the bus. So there is obviously a rail line between the two, it's just not used. So let's see how that transpires. Potential for a future link-up. Same thing happened at Sheringham, if I remember correctly. Just to reinforce where I am. Yeah, I'm sure that's what we used to call a Sulzer. Entering the old BR carriages when they were individual units carriage back in the day. Look at that workmanship. Brings back memories.
It would do this one though, wouldn't it? I think yeah. But I think most people won't be on the diesel. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Still got that smell to it as well. Full of mystery.